Okay, so sorry about that. A bit of technical difficulty with organising some of the streaming today. So we will stop all the mix-ups. We'll get into the campaign for this week's show on Marketing Live TV. Again, apologies if you've been waiting. For those that have not quite not got there, we had a bit of technical difficulty at the start, but feel free to jump on and ensure that you comment on the show. Make sure that you ask any questions as I'm going through the campaigns, the Google Ads campaigns. All right, so let's jump into the normal show. I'll go with making sure that you jump on our social channels and connect. Please make sure that you subscribe. It really helps. We're just short of making it into the next phase of Marketing Live TV, which will be really great. I'll be able to pay for this whole exercise, which has been a year in the making, and so I will come back in just a moment with Google Ads and a Google ad. All right. So Google Ads. Google Ads is the new brand for Google's advertising platforms. They've renamed it Google Ads because they want to cover YouTube advertising, display advertising, search advertising, and watch this space. I believe that they'll throw a few more in the mix just for that's generally what they do. So this week I'm covering creating a Google Ads campaign. Now I've sort of been working with some friends and business colleagues that have all kind of asked the same thing, and they're all wanting to get in this space, or they're playing in the Google Ads space, but they're just not getting it right. They're either spending a hell of a lot of money, they're spending a hell of a lot of time, they're not getting conversions, and they're just wondering where it's all going. So I'm just going to to talk a little bit about Google Ads and to understand what it is that you're actually trying to achieve, you need to think a little bit like Google, a little bit about what they're doing and what they're trying to do. So Google Ads are basically trying to get the absolute best and most relevant information, be it ad or search result, in front of the right person at the right time. Now, that's their mission in life. If they get paid to do that, or they do get paid to do that, but if they can create those opportunities then that's where you pay for their advertising space. So they are doing their absolute best to find out what people are looking for, what stage they are in the life cycle of purchasing, what stage they are in their general life cycle, and all of the information around how relevant that person is for any particular given opportunity. Now, they've implemented a whole raft of artificial intelligence to sort of manage this, and that's kind of the background, I guess, when you're thinking about Google and Google advertising and what they're trying to do and how you fit into that. So you fit into that by having the product, and they fit into that by linking your product with the customer or the best customer at the right place at the right time. So they're that middle platform, I guess. And as opposed to traditional advertising where you would put it in a newspaper, magazine, television, and it would go out to everyone, they're basically trying to find the right one. So that's the background. So let's jump into the new Google Ads space and have a bit of a look. So this is Google Ads as it's just been updated. They have an all new look and feel. It's quite nice, it's clean, it's easy to navigate. It's not too far different from what was there before. Now, there's, this is a new setup. There's not a lot of advertising being done on this, which is a good thing because it's probably where most of the small businesses or that sort of thing are. So when you're looking at these sorts of things, you've got to remember you're at point zero. So you don't have any background information. Google doesn't effectively know who the best customer is for you. Now, there's two ways that you can train Google as to what you want to do. You can go out and pay an absolute fortune and buy try and buy every keyword and every position in every place, and it will then learn who the right people are, and you will still pay, but you will pay more because you're not as relevant. Or on the flip side, as you can narrow your target right down to the very smallest niche possible, and then try and get as many conversions as possible from a small amount, and then as that grows, it learns quite quickly what a good and a not so good opportunity is. So then as you then increase that, it will find more of the right opportunities in your increased scope. Now, most people that I've spoken to, when they put their foot in the water of online advertising, they try and pick a broad topic, get as much traffic to the site, and then wonder why they've burned through thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. It's just not the right way to teach Google's artificial intelligence how to find you the best customer. So what you're doing is you're training the tool, artificial intelligence, what customers you want. So to do that, flip it on its head. Start with a very narrow, and I've called it conversion density. Now, the reason I've called it conversion density is because with the very narrow scope, the potential is very limited. Now, but because of the narrow scope, the number of conversions in that limited space is high. So the conversion density is quite high. So then you get ranked up. You pay less because it's better quality, you're targeting the right people, and so therefore you will get a better result sooner. And then when you increase the scope, you already have a good, let's call it a track record. All right, so let's jump in and create a campaign. So for this campaign, I'm actually going to use the appointments campaign, but I'll go through it. So this is for a beauty salon. It's kind of where I'm sitting at the moment for those that know it, and if you don't, I'm sitting in a beauty salon, and I can't quite show you at the moment, but the salon basically has conversion tracking, all of the analytics tracking set up, and the conversion tracking is based on appointments. So when you make an appointment, it marks a conversion as being successful. That's really important. Now, there's no point doing any or all, if the conversion is getting them to your website, then by all means send them to your website. But that doesn't really help you get customers. Now, admittedly, if you know that you have a conversion rate of 1%, 2%, whatever it may be, and then the more traffic you get, the more that you'll convert. If you want to play in that space, then by all means. But if you set up conversion tracking, then Google's AI will start to find the ones that will convert as opposed to the ones that will come, look, and leave. And that's really important because you don't want to be paying for the ones that come, look, and leave, or the ones that bounce off the site. It's just wasted money. Now, Google knows this, wasted money. If you want to pay them your wasted money, I'm sure they'll accept it. So, let's jump in and have a look at this appointments campaign. And before we go any further, we'll just jump into some of the settings, just so that you can see kind of what is. We'll close that one off and we'll make this one a bit bigger and easier to see. So you can see what's there and what I mean by it being very narrow in scope. So campaigns, so it's a search and display campaign. It's goal. Now, when you set up a new goal, a new campaign in Google AdWords, they ask you what sort of conversion you're after, or what would make it successful. Now, if you have an e-commerce part of this, then you would choose sales. If you're just after total website traffic, you don't have e-commerce or conversion tracking set up, then you would go for website traffic. But if you are, in this case, we're after people to complete an online form to make an appointment. Therefore, it's leads. So then what networks? So there's the search network, which is obviously Google search, and it appears in search results, and then the display network, which is Google's advertising space. Then there is locations. Now, this we're based on the Gold Coast. This salon is based in Palm Beach. So what we've done is narrowed it down to a whole heap of locations that are targeting certain areas. So to kind of if I put in here, so say you have a beauty salon like Salon Beauty, we'll call this I've already put that in. So if we were to write Gold Coast, you can see that it comes up target or exclude. Now, as you target certain areas, you need to be mindful of how people are going to fall into those areas. So if you target people around a place like the Gold Coast, when they're searching for something on a desktop computer, it will be based on their IP and how they're served their internet connection. Now, you need to be mindful that for a smaller location like the Gold Coast, many of the IPs are not based on the Gold Coast. They'll be based in Brisbane, possibly even Sydney or Melbourne. So you need to be mindful of that when you're creating these, because while the person might be on the Gold Coast, they might not appear to Google as they are as though they're on the Gold Coast because of the way that it finds them. Now, on a mobile device, there's a number of ways that Google can find your location, depending on if you've got location services turned on, what Wi-Fi position you're using, what IP that Wi-Fi position is using. Very, very technical, but in overall terms, just be mindful that the number of people is actually lower for a given region, depending on how narrow it is, if if you're narrowing it down to the level of the city or even the suburb. So there's a couple of different ways to do it, and as you can see here, we've chosen the individual suburb here. We've chosen the individual suburb, 2 regions around Gold Coast Airport because they're significant, and then Gold Coast Airport, and then there's a Google place and a radius around that Google place. Now, you can use all of these, and if you are targeting a broader area, make sure you also include exclusion areas or exclusion zones. All right. So does anyone have any issues or concerns with that? Is anyone struggling with any of that information? If not, then all good. Feel free to sing out if I'm going too slow, because I probably am, because you guys have got this covered. So how about I bring this back up and let's go down. So budget. Now, you can go nuts with this, but for this salon, basically we worked backwards and went, what would be a success to start with? Just to start with, to get things going. Now, we said if we could get 1 appointment a day at a cost of $10 a day, then that would get us the right start. So now we're, this is an adaptive thing. You need to understand that this is not a set and forget process. Google Ads, like any other advertising, changes and adapts, and you need to be able to adapt and look for the opportunities. Now, if all of a sudden the Google AI starts sending 2 appointments a day, but it's capped at its budget, and we're spending and we've got $5 per acquisition, and we're making $40 per person in profit, then why wouldn't we up it? Like, there's no reason apart from, in that case, you could literally, ramp it up as far as it could go, give it an unlimited budget, and if it just kept finding more people, you would just keep getting more appointments. Now, there's demand management parts of that, but let's move on. All right. So, now here, so budget $10 a day, just on that. And how about we zoom in to this a little bit. I'm just going to highlight this bit just here. Now, delivery method. Now, a standard delivery method will deliver your budget spread over time. Now, over a 24-hour period, if you say $10 a day, it will try and even that out as much as it can. Now, the good thing about that is that you will fluctuate when your ads appear. The bad thing is that you might not get in front of the people that you need to when you need to, because you don't have the time. So, or because you've spent your budget, or because you've spent some of your budget early because a lot of people have clicked, then in the afternoon the amount that you'll pay for position is less. So you just need to be mindful of that, where Accelerated will do its absolute best to spend your budget as quickly as possible and get as many people in front of you as you can. Now, on the flip side of this, you need to be really, really mindful that, you need to be mindful that if you have a low budget and you're not actually if you're using all that budget every day, it will get spent very early. So then you miss out on the afternoon. And if people are generally doing bookings or buying your stuff in the evening, then you've missed your boat. So then you need to, block off in the morning, not spend your money in the morning, and make sure that it goes to the time periods that you want. Now, it's just something to be mindful of because it's very important in how Google will spend your money. So let's keep going. All right. So now there are a number of things that you can do here. And these are really important. Okay, so there's been a number of changes to Google and how they've basically how they're helping businesses get value out of Google AdWords, because they've realized a lot of companies are just spending a hell of a lot of money. So the most common is maximize clicks or enhance cost per click. So maximize clicks will basically just try and get you as many people to your site as possible. If that's what you want, that's great. Maximize conversions will try and get a number of, or try and get as many people converting as possible. Now there's target search page location. So if you want to appear as high as possible, or if you want to appear on the feature side, target outranking share. So if you are trying to beat your competitors, now you just need to be mindful of all of those, that you'll need to have the budget to spend on them, because they will force as much as they can through to achieve your goal. Now, the target cost per acquisition and target return on ad spend, now, or ROAS, which is return on ad spend. Basically, these are more, you need to have it set up. They're more technical, but what they'll do is they will try to achieve your targeted goal for the cost that you have. So you need to be mindful that the target return on ad or cost per acquisition needs to be kind of realistic. Now, if you're trying to say, oh, I want 1 cent cost per acquisition for every lead that comes through and I want to pay nothing for them, you're not going to get very much traffic. But as you bump that up, you'll start to get more traffic, and it will learn the ones that convert. Now, if you've got a goal like leads through to completing a form to filling in that, then the target cost per acquisition is a really good one, because if you know what a customer, if you know that the average profit per customer or the average lifetime value of the customer, the cost per acquisition is a perfect one, because you can say, right, if any customer that makes an appointment, or if the average customer that makes an appointment gives me $50 in this case, and then and then I'm willing to spend 20% of that, so or whatever it may be, or 25% of that, so I'll pay $10 to get that customer. Now that's perfect. Then you know that you're in the overall, you should never be out. Now you've got to tweak that over time. Target return on ad spend is really, really good for e-commerce sites. If you have e-commerce tracking on your site and you've got it all set up so that it's tracking your sales, the revenue you generate, and that sort of thing. Now, if you have a relatively fixed profit level, then you can go for a target return on ad spend. And what that will allow you to do is Google will then try and get as many conversions at the return on investment or return on ad spend that you designate. So if you have, let's take, for example, you have a 50% profit out of any given sale, and then you can go out to Google and say, right, I want a target return on ad spend of 70%. That means I take the 20%, I'll give you the 30%, go nuts. And you can turn the tap on and it will go and find as many people, and you only pay at the return on ad spend rate. Now, it does fluctuate a little, especially in the start, so you just need to bear with it, but it's really, really, really good opportunity if you can set up all the tracking and tools and conversions. So that is set up as cost per acquisition, and so that's the campaign overview. So that's the very, very top level, setting up the campaign, the budget, the targeting, the and who you effectively want that to go to. All right. So once you've done that, you then create an ad group. Now here we are going to create an ad for spray tans. So I'm going to call it spray tanning. I know, it's rocket science, but so then spray tanning. All right, so here, one of Google's new tools, select an ad group type. So dynamic will allow dynamic ads to be served from the landing page's content that you provide. Where a standard, if I continue that, it'll tell me, you copy and paste in your keywords and all the bits and pieces, and it will tell you what you can do. So if we were to enter spray tan, but let's go with dynamic because, spray tanning, spray tanning. All right, so like I mentioned before, by making it really narrow, we'll be able to teach Google's AI very quickly that we want it to focus on people. Let's take this campaign, people in the Gold Coast region that are interested in spray tanning, that are basically willing to make an appointment. Now it will find a few of those. Some of them will click through and they won't do what they're after, but as it starts to learn, it will get better and better. So let's get back in. This is our, sorry, I should have shown this before, but this is our website and our spray tanning pages. It mentions spray tanning. It's got a image there. It's far from the most appealing site, but it does its job. And the reason why I've chosen this one is because in the research we've done, this is something that people are making appointments on. Now, that's another good point in that if you know that you have a funnel, a website funnel that is converting, then use that one to start with, because you know that it's working and it will work better for you. So once you have some structure and have some runs on the board, then start to play with the ones that aren't working as much. But so this one's working quite well. People are booking on it. So this is the site. So we are going to take that, go back to Google Ads, and I'm going to say that I want to target that specific page. All right, so as you can see, target spray tanning, and I want to target visitors to that exact page. All right. So in this ad, I already have site link, call out extension, which that one can probably, anyway, that one can stay. It is a child-friendly salon, and also a call extension. So that's the number that will be added to the display ad when it shows. All right, so because of the very narrow scope of this ad, the dynamic search ad will come up, and I'll just hit done. There we go, created our first ad. Done and ready to go. Now, whoops. Now I am going to save that one. Oh, sorry. Now I'm going to copy a piece of text from there. Okay, so basically what I've done is grabbed a piece of text from the actual site to put onto the ad. Now this is another really important bit about making sure that the ad is specific to the individual product you're offering. So that now is done. We'll save that, and we have the first ad for spray tanning. So as you can see, that one's there, ad group, and then if I go ads and extensions, you'll see that one there. So I'm going to go back to ad groups, and I'm just going to edit this ad group, and I'm going to call it dynamic, so that we know that that is the ad for the dynamic ads. All right. Sorry, that's me not paying attention. I will just highlight that here. Whoops. So we have our dynamic spray tanning ad group, and it's all in there. So now I'm just going to add a standard ad group. I'm going to call this spray. Whoops. Okay. Now, as you can see, we've called this one standard because we've gone the ad group type standard, and it's asking us to add in keywords, phrases, or that sort of thing. Now, previous to this, we've done some research and got that. Oops. Now I'm really lost. Okay. So previous to doing the show, we did some keyword research, found just 5 of the top performing keywords with a very, very low competition. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the best performing keywords with the lowest competition, because I don't want to spend an absolute fortune competing with people who are either doing well or not well. If they're blowing their budget and spending thousands of dollars and not doing any conversion, then they're just going to outbuy you. So hopefully you're smarter than that, and that's the aim. So I am going to copy these Okay, let's bring this up, and so there we have the keywords. Now, point to note on these is if you want an exact match, so if the keywords exactly match a specific keyword, then it will buy it, and it will buy it at a cheaper price. So ones that we know that we definitely want, if someone searches this, this is absolutely the person that I want to have. So here we would do an exact match for that. Now, if someone searches, now this beauty salon is in Palm Beach on the Gold Coast, so we'll exact match for those. Now, it's broad match, spray tan near me, broad match, spray tan Gold Coast. So if people search for these, then they're searching within the Gold Coast. We should show up, but hopefully with our narrow targeting, we'll exclude the ones that aren't that relevant, and then and with our bidding strategy and our delivery strategy, we should hopefully get only the right people. So if you wanted to, you could enter your website. If I copy the website in here, and if I enter my website in there, it will come up with a whole list of keywords. Well, that one doesn't. If I put in spray, in spray tan, it will likely come up with a whole heap of keywords. It will tell you how many people search for them and all of the rest of it. So we've done that research previously, so we'll just save and continue. All right, now just be mindful that there is a reason that I'm making multiple ad groups and multiple campaigns and multiple ads, and that is to increase the targeting, and so that the Google AI can learn which ads perform best. So then once it learns and we learn what those best ads are, we lose the others and we refine the best performing ones. So that's really important, because it makes for a very good campaign after a while. So then we are going to create this new ad. All right, so let's put our URL in there. Okay, so here I'm going to go back and make sure I'm grabbing content from the site. So grabbing the content from the site is really important, because it will ensure that let's just fill in some of these. Just bring it some of that, and we'll So that in there. Now this is the fun part where you play with the text to get it to fit the right space. And there you see that's what your ad will look like with your site link extensions and your call out extensions. You can see the call out extension there for a child-friendly salon. So what it was showing you is the amount of space that you will likely take up. Now it won't always take up that much space, but you can see that that's what it will likely look like. Now, here's where you just need to sense check what you're doing. Is this the right message to be saying for your ad? But you won't know until you start trying it. So let's go done. Great. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to make a change, and I'm going to copy it again. And so you can see that what I've done is I've made some subtle changes just to each of the ads, just to give them something different. And it's really interesting to, we'll do one more just to make sure. Go. So 4 ads, relatively the same, only the smallest subtle change. And there we go. So we have our ads. Now I am going to do one more thing, and I'm going to create a responsive ad. Now, these ads actually so here you can see that I've uploaded some images. It will ask me what I want to use these images as. Now they need to fit with the responsive ads, they need to fit the shape of the ad, because these ads dynamically display depending on the device, the location, the space allowed. So I'm just going to create these. Alright, so it will then load these in. So now I'm going to again let's go back to the site. And let's make this one a little bit different, and we'll call Fabulous Spray Tan. Sounds beautiful. Now you can see with responsive ads, well, first of all, the layout, you see it as you build it, but if I zoom in to this here, you see you get far more characters than you do in the normal text ads or dynamic ads. So all right, so here we go. We're adding in all of our bits. We'll copy some of this text and we'll put it into here. And we'll copy a headline out of here. Let's just go with this one for now. Great. So then once we have that done, you'll start to see all of the ad structures. Now there's things to be mindful of here, and when one of them comes up, I will there's one where the call to action is different from the others. So if I go, you see call to action there is a button and the call to action is slightly different. Now you can adjust that if you want. So if you want to force it to be visit site, then it will, where it's possible, it will always say visit site. They do have image ads that click through to a button, but you can play with some of those, and that's a great opportunity for variation of a particular ad. So I think I like book now just for this example, so we'll close that down and we'll just stick with that. All right, so if I go, so if I go and groups and I look in here, and then I click my ads, here you will see these ads running. Now they will be under review until they're approved, or if there's some sort of issue you just need to make minor tweaks to them to just get them live. Sometimes there is things to be mindful of, like too many capitals, too many special characters. If you can't make all words capitals, and things like that. They're just things that you'll learn over time. A bit of simple Google search will tell you all of the things that you need to do. So that is generally what you need to do to start your ad campaigns. Now, just be mindful, 2 weeks is the time period that you need to spend to get a good indication of where it's going. Now, an example of this 2 weeks I have right here. Now, an example of it starting to find the right amount of people and the right people to send the impressions to is for this 2 weeks here, because there was pretty much there was nothing really done there. For this 2 weeks here, not a lot really happened, and it was a very, very limited campaign on purpose to just get some impressions, see how far the campaign needed to go to start getting some traction. Then, as you can see, we opened up a little bit more and it started to get more traction. Then we opened up a little bit more and all of a sudden we're now getting clicks and conversions. So we know that we're starting to get traction. Now, things to be mindful of is if you look here, there's a click-through rate of 1.5%. Now, overall, that is quite low, meaning that the ads that are being represented compared to the audience in that particular ad group and that particular set of ads is probably not as relevant as it could be. So there's an opportunity for improvement. Play with your ads, play with your campaign settings and your targeting to tweak it so that click-through rate goes up, your conversion rate will go up at the same time if you keep that narrow focus, and also you will get a much better return. You'll get a better return because not only will you pay less, but you'll also get more conversions. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. That's probably overload for everyone. It's a massive show. It's over an hour, so thanks, or it's not quite an hour, it's 53 minutes, but that's long enough. So thanks for watching. Feel free to connect on YouTube, sing out if you've got any questions. There are the social channels for Marketing Live TV. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to the next episode next week.